Those driven to the brink of despair are ever the most dangerous of foes, as you are reminded when Iceheart offers her body as a vessel for Shiva's soul. The resurrected saint of Eld lashes out with a righteous fury, but pushing you to your mortal limits, yet the battle ends as it began, with the young maiden kneeling in the snow, cursing your ignorance. Hear, feel, think of Iceheart's scripted parting words. Our final three leave the deepest impression, for few indeed are the ways in which one could come to know them. Could it be that Heideland speaks to your enemy too? For the time being, put aside such troubling thoughts and inform Moonbreed of your victory. By the 12th, you're alive! I mean, of course you're alive. Why wouldn't you be? I started what? And you're certain about that, are you? Your Valiants are skilled with glamours, after all. Look, if you say that's what you saw, I believe you. It's just that I've never heard of a primal being summoned like that before. Are you sure you're not injured? Head trauma has been known to cause hallucinations, you see? No? Fair enough. I was only asking. Moonbrida is understandable skeptical about your description of events. However, she's willing to give you the benefit of the doubt for the time being. On the understanding that you did not suffer any form of head trauma. Certain of what you saw, you elect not to inform her that cranial injuries are only to be expected when doing battle with a primal. The road less traveled. If you ask me, there's enough to begin from mulling over the implications of your story in a freezing cold. Let's save it for the Rising Stones, huh? I'll get everyone to meet us there. But before that, you had best pay a visit to White Brim Front and speak with Alfinod. He's probably worried sick about you. That or he's busy playing at politics with the Ishkardians. Either way, I'm sure he'll be delighted to see you hale and healthy. Speaking of which, you don't have a headache or anything, do you? No? Blurred vision? Oh, no reason. See you again soon. Seeing little point in bothering the implications of your telling Ortiz Moonbreeder declares that she and the others will return to the Rising Stones. Before you join them, journey to White Brim Front and inform Alfino that you are still alive among other things. There he is, and none the worse for wear. Was there ever any doubt that the warrior of light would succeed? I think I can speak for us all when I say that I should like nothing more than to hear the stirring tale of your victory, if you would be so kind. Then we were too late to prevent the summoning. But not too late to prevent further loss of life, an outcome worthy of celebration, and one for which we have Joseph to thank. Yes, you are right, of course, Sir Emmerich. We should be content with what we have accomplished. I, for one, could not have wished for a better outcome. Shiva is no longer a threat, and the heretics have been routed. Aye, there is the matter of Isart's escape, but she cannot run forever. Whether it takes days, weeks, moons, or even years, my knights will find her. In the meantime, Lord Drillamont, is the caravan ready? The supplies that your men recovered have been prepared for transport in accordance to with your wishes. Rest assured that my knights will see them safely to Revenantstall. Of that I have no doubt. I, I take it these are the selfsame supplies the heretics stole from House for Temp's caravan. Less the crystals which comprise the bulk of the shipment, yes. Scarcely a fraction of that which was promised, but a meaningful contribution to your cause all the same. Ah, on an unrelated note, Joseph, might I trouble you to accompany me to Camp Dragonhead at your earliest convenience? It is not for my benefit. A certain lord was most distressed when he learned of your intent to risk life and limb to stop Isarts. It took half a dozen knights to restrain them, I am told. Men give vent to their anxieties in my red's ways. Pray do not think less of him. Alfino Oates' voice swells with pride as he asks you to bring Pontivence's snowcloak. Though he is disappointed and concerned by Isart's success in summoning Shiva, Sir Emmerich advises them to take solace in your victory. As for the comfort, he reveals that some of the supplies stolen from the House for Temp's caravan have been recovered and will be delivered to Revenantstall forthwith. The Lord Commander then requests that you accompany him to Camp Dragonhead, as it seems a certain lord has been praying for your safe return. What were you thinking, Joseph, wagering your very being on a dubious theory which might allow you to enter Isart's lair, knowing full well that she could have sufficient for earning to complete a ritual to summon Shiva anyway? And then engaging the abomination in mortal combat? By the fury, Joseph, this is the stuff of ballads, a battle for the ages. Would that I had been there to fight by your side. Yet here I was forced to wait, condemned to wonder at the fate of a dear friend for a vertible eternity. I would not wish such torture on my most hated enemy. But you are here now, and that is what truly matters. Let's move on. Sir Emmerich wished to have words with you, and Master Alfino did private. He awaits us in the Lord Hoshefront is more than a little distressed that you did not think to involve him in your daring endeavor. Though plainly overjoyed that you survived, it is clear that the stress has taken its toll on him. Composing himself, he informs you that Sir Emmerich has requested a private audience with you and Alfino in an intercessory, though he makes no mention of what the Lord Commander wishes to discuss. Greetings, sir. I shall show you in at once.
On behalf of the Holy See of Ishgard, allow me to express my deepest thanks. Never before have we been required to contend with a primal. Indeed, there were fears in some quarters that our knights might not be equal to the task. From what we have now learned of these beings, I can say with certainty that we would have lost a great many men had the Scions not intervened.
Then the argument for preemptive action should be self-evident. Perchance now you will reconsider my proposal that Ishgard move against Natalan.
Ere we first met, a similar proposal was tabled, but the Holy See decreed that we were to observe, and that military action should be taken only in self-defense. All things considered, it was not an unreasonable decision. Since the calamity, 2 vigils have fallen to the Horde, while Garuda has never shown any inclination to storm the gates of judgment. Which is why this unprecedented crisis and its resolution may prompt a change in policy. You who have faced these primals know well the threat they pose. Ishgard did not. Not until now. And there is naught like a brush with death to change a man's outlook.
At the very least, this should silence any lingering objections to our arrangement with Revenant's Toll. The Holy See may even feel moved to grant us its formal endorsement.
So far as it is possible, the Scions shall be compensated for their service.
We should be grateful for any aid you can provide.
As a gesture of good faith, I shall withdraw my previous request. Your people are doubtless needed elsewhere.
That will not be necessary. We too have a vested interest in watching Dravania's movements.
I see. Once more, I must thank you.
Sir Emmerich, if I may, do you truly believe that Midgardsormr could return?
The heavens are a window unto truth, but those who interpret their movements are not infallible. I requested your involvement as a precautionary measure.
But of course, you sought an excuse to compensate us from the first, mindful of what would happen if Revenant's Toll were taken by your enemies. Ishgard is not wont to aid its neighbors, but that does not preclude it from manipulating them to serve its own interests.
Choose your next words carefully.
Do you know what sort of man becomes Lord Commander of the Temple Knights? One who comes from good stock. I did not. Yet here I am now. Why do you suppose that is? Because I swiftly learned to tell the difference between words, deeds, and beliefs. You are correct, Master Leveilleur. Ishgard desires to see Revenant's Toll flourish, as it would present a troublesome obstacle to our enemies from the south.
We are so glad to be of use to you.
As we are to you. Ours is a mutually beneficial arrangement, lest we forget, one born of necessity. The dragons grow more restless by the day, and the heretics harry us nigh without cease. We have contended with such troubles for centuries, but there are limits to even our endurance. Yet as a pauper is loath to part with his meager possessions, the leaders of Ishgard are not wont to render up their trust to outsiders. But with perseverance on our part, they may yet be made to see the light. Nevertheless, one must take care when walking the road less traveled.
Wise words, Sir Emmerich. I shall make a point to remember them. I must apologize for my earlier outburst. I hope it will not sour our good relations.
Not at all. You but spoke from the heart. I trust you understand that at times my duties may prevent me from meeting with you. On such occasions, my second-in-command will speak for me.
Lucia, at your service. Pray excuse our reticence. We are but wary of speaking too freely, lest our sentiments be made known to our enemies. Know that the Lord Commander and I are of one mind, For the sake of Ishgard, and of Eorzea at large, I pray our peoples can put aside their differences. Those who dwell in the past risk losing sight of their future.
Should aught befall one of our shipments, pray inform Lucia immediately. You may also relay to her any words you might have for me alone. Not being of Ishgardian birth, she owes no allegiance to any noble house, making her as near to incorruptible as one can find in my homeland. Suffice it to say, I trust her completely, and so may you.
A escrita desta parte da história é tão melhor. Tipo, tens tanto subtexto em várias frases do que nos outros que
Which
literalmente
reminds me,
consistem que eles dizem.
Lord Orshafon,
Não havia
if you would be so
subtexto,
kind.
nada.
Certainly.
É impressionante que aqui nesta conversa é tudo uma
In
luta
times such as
política
these, trust is ever in short supply.
entre eles os dois.
Mayhap this will go
Mas-
some way to rectify the problem.
No outro era se este, na primeira parte da história era se este tinha um problema com o outro, ele dizia que tinha um problema com o outro. Não havia aqui
The
nada.
results of our investigation into the heretics' recent attacks, as well as our interrogation of the merchant you detained.
Sir Emmerich, I cannot thank you enough.
Think nothing of it. Ishgard may be many things, but it is no friend to Garlemald.
Did I not tell you to have faith, my friend?
Ele vai morrer. Normalmente, grande parte dos personagens que são, tipo, são muito bonzinhos neste jogo acabam por morrer. Tens ali um ou dois que não morrem, mas grande parte. Não temos muita sorte na vida. Okay. The cordial mood between Alfinod and Sir Emmerich abruptly turns sour when the Scion accuses his counterpart of manipulating the situation to his advantage. In response, the Lord Commander all but declares his desire to work with Alfinod for the betterment of Eorzea, while stressing that a man in his position must act with the utmost discretion. Alfinod relents, having at last gained an understanding of the pragmatic ambassador. The rift between the two is quickly mended. Sir Emmerich then formally introduces his second-in-command, Lucia, who will act as his representative when he is otherwise indisposed. As a final gesture of goodwill, the Lord Commander shares the results of the Ishgarian investigation into the heretics' attacks with Alfinod, which should help the Crystal Braves to dismantle the remainder of Eli Royale's network of spies. Whatever else Ishgard may be, it is plain that she is no friend to Garlemald. Okay. Eisenberg. It would seem that we have much to discuss with our friends at the Rising Stones. If what you say is true, Weishart's method of summoning Shiva defies all precedent. It necessitates a complete reappraisal of the primal threat and our approach to combating it. Moreover, there are grave ramifications if word of this incident reaches Imperial ears. The Garlean Empire believes that primals are an insufferable menace, that their mere existence is a threat to its very star. As such, they deem any action taken against the beast tribes to be justified by default. Imagine then, if it became known that it was not only the beast tribes of Eorzea that could summon prowls, but their civilized people as well, any lingering objections to the Eorzea campaign would vanish overnight. Where before we had to contend with a single Imperial Legion, we could well find ourselves facing the combined might of all Garlemald. But let's begin advisedly. Come, Joseph, it is better that we continue this conversation in Mordona. The implications of Iceheart's actions are not lost on Alfinod, who is eager to discuss them with your colleagues at the Rising Stones. Return with them to Mordona and report to me fully.
Words cannot well express how glad I am to see you return to us hale and whole. Needless to say, I am most eager to hear your account of that which occurred in Curthis, assuming you're ready to speak of it.
Eu tinha visto no vídeo e por
Excellent.
acaso esse
I
vídeo
shall summon the others at once.
é verdade que porque que se tu reparas todos os jogos que a voz original é japonesa, o voice acting em inglês é sempre meio é porque normalmente o budget vai mais para o voice acting original do que para os voice acting secundários. Por isso é que o voice acting se tu reparas que os Final Fantasy é muito assim, grande parte tens muito e tipo, quando os personagens só estão a mexer-se quando tipo, não está a acontecer nada. É muito coisa. É uma cena que acontece muito com os americanos, não conseguem ser tão dramáticos como os japoneses, então quando tentam ficam um pouco weird.
Iceheart used her own body as a vessel for a primal soul?
Master Louis Soir's writings make no mention of such a possibility. Can we be certain this entity was a primal?
As certain as we can be that good King Mogulmog XII was a primal, I should think. Both were ostensibly summoned.
Let's not quibble over definitions. Of more concern is the implication that Iceheart retained her will, even after she was possessed. We are talking about a mortal, wielding the power of a primal.
It can't possibly be that easy, can it? There must be some sort of sacrifice required. Or maybe she's just special?
What qualities this woman possesseth, I know not. But full sure am I that she was groomed for this role. Few are privy to the secrets of summoning, and but a single party standeth to profit from their dissemination.
Well, I wouldn't presume to comment on how the lass came to know about summoning, but I will say that what she summoned was a primal. The readings were the same, or near as damn it. Strange as it all sounds, it's really no different from what you've faced before.
Then mayhap it is time that we re-examined our previous encounters.
Pack your things, Ida. We're going back to Gridania.
Yes, sir.
About Iceheart's final words to you. Hear, feel, think. Hydaelyn speaks to her as well. If Iceheart is blessed with the power of the Echo, she will doubtless have used it to further her goals. Or could it be that it was a revelation granted her by the Echo which first set her on this path? She did say that the Ishgardians were blind to the truth. Do you think she has knowledge of the origins of the Ishgardian-Dravanian War? It would do much to explain her unwavering conviction.
Did not the Lady Iceheart implore thee to seek the Keeper of the Lake? And did she not imply that in so doing thou wouldst come to see with eyes unclouded?
Midgard Zona was a king amongst kings who reigned for centuries on end. But he is dead and his wisdom lost to the ages. Unless the Ishgardians' fears are well founded, it would seem we have yet another reason to stand watch over the Keeper of the Lake. For a mercy, we are well positioned to do so. Iceheart, Shiva, Ascians, and Midgard Zoma. I shudder to think how they're all connected.
Was Shiva a primal or something Herod foreign seen? Did Iceheart truly become her? And if so, did she retain control? Did the Ascians have a hand in her plans? Your tale raises more than a few questions which the Scions are unable to answer. Minfilia is most troubled by Highsart's final words to you, from which she concludes that the heretic's leader is blessed with the power of the Echo. What drove the young maiden to take such a drastic action remains unclear, but if she is to be believed, then the answer may lie in Yggdrasil, the great wyvern that perished at the Battle of Silver Star Skies, and that the Ishgarian astrology and sphere may soon rise from the dead. Okay, the reason why I need to scour the annals for knowledge of Yggdrasil. Given his great age, I dare say he appears in more than a few. Do you hear that? That commotion outside. Would you see if what is amiss? Minfilia has scarcely begun to tell you of her intent to study the Great Wire, Yggdrasil, when some manner of commotion erupts just outside the solar. Reverse the antecedent bits and see if what is amiss. Joseph, this will let you are on hand. We have a problem. Royale has escaped. It happened shortly after the Immortal Flames took her into custody. She had been placed in a dungeon cell ahead for her coming trial, but apparently the accommodation was not to her liking. A turnkey was found slain along the two guards. This plan she received inside help. Citizens report seeing Royale quitting the city via the Gate of Nod with a bloodied spear in her hands. She makes for Castrum Meridian, I am certain of it. With her fate in yours, she as good as sealed what resource had she but to flee to her imperial masters. Even as we speak, Captain Hilbert and the First are hot upon Royale's heels. Pray make haste to camp Fog and join the hunt. A clearly agitated Alphinaud informs you that Eileen Royale has somehow managed to slip her confines and escape. He believes that the disgraced Flame Marshal means to flee to her Imperial Masters at Castrum Meridian. Make haste to Camp Bluefog in Northumberland and join Hilbert and the First Unit in their hunt for the fugitive. Thanks for coming, Sire. I have spoken with the soldiers here. They say that Royale walked through the camp, not the Belladel. Aye, she walked right through. You did not miss here. We have Roman's decision to keep the matter a secret to thank for that. But for morale, he said. As a result, not a single flame in the garrison made any attempt to detain them. And so here we are. Royale must not be allowed to reach Castrum Meridian. You arrived at Camp Bluefog to the news that Eileen Royale passed through scarcely a bell before. Follow Captain Hilbert to the nearby Orleum processing plant, the next suitable landmark on their way to Castrum Meridian. The wretch was with Royale. This wretch was with Royale. He threw himself at us that his mistress might escape. She didn't blink when we cut him down, not even when he started screaming. No loyalty even to her own goddamn heartbeat. With me saying, we almost have a Feathertime character. But I'm ugly. Oh, brother. Find her and do it tight. Yes, sir. Good work, man. She and our Imperial cronies pushed us close, but we were better. Behold, a respected officer of the Immortal Flames. People looked up to you as one of the Order's founding members, one of its pillars. It saddens me to see you fallen so low. What would you know of love? You, a spoiled little lordling who has ever known any want. People such as you take wealth and birth for granted. You think it's your God's given right to rule over others. You know not of our plight, the injustice that we low-born Ishgarians must endure. To the noble lords and ladies, we are not people but resources to be consumed. I did what I had to do to survive, stealing, killing, even harming myself. It is no fault of mine if fools imagine me a paragon when I join the flames. To hear you tell it, one would think you the only person to ever to I silly. To hear you tell it, one would think you the only person ever to have suffered. In case you have forgotten, Raban himself was born into poverty, as was I. We lived hand to mouth with little more than a shirt on our backs. Hunger was our constant companion, yet never did we bemoan our lot in life, nor did we begrudge others their fortunes. We accepted the hand that we have been dealt, played it to the best of our ability. Life was a better lie, but no matter what fate threw at us, we took it on the chin and came back for more. Everything we have, we fought for. How are we any different then? It is true that we were both mercenaries of lowly birth, and it is true that we both had our fair share of struggles. But whereas I sold my soul to you, Marshal, you sold your comrades. If life has taught me one thing, is that you never betray your own. I would sooner cut off my arm than raise a hand against a friend. Poxa, não fosse eu literalmente ai toda a gente depois de ver como é que vai no braço. Yeah. But enough talk. We will wait until we to face justice, the people whose trust we have dragged through the battle. You overtake Eileen Royale at Raban's bush, but not before she is joined by our Imperial allies, and ere you stand shoulder to shoulder with the Crystal Braves and the Shinobi of Doma and engage the enemy, succeeding at length in overwhelming the Garlands and recapturing the fugitive. Holy and unrepentant Eileen greets the subsequent arrival of Alphinaud with a hail of vitriol, and is lambasted by Hilbert for her shamelessness before being dragged away. Ask Alphinaud for his thoughts on a heated exchange. Not so much as a hint of remorse. This sordid business is finally at an end. A friend's betrayal cuts deeper than steel. We must hope that we have chosen our own allies more wisely than Raban chooses.
I have heard. Truly bothersome business. No, I do not foresee a problem on that front. The main concern is Raban. There is no telling what the brute might do. Have the Blades watch him in the flames day and night. You may leave the Sultana to me. I shall personally attend her grace. Sever one of the East Aldenard trade routes. That ought to keep Lolorito occupied for a while. Nanamo Ulnamo. For my sake, pray be a good little Sultana to the last.
Alfinwood seems troubled, though the sordid business of the IVs concluded it has been well left an unpleasant taste in his mouth. Let us cling together. Captain Hilbert and I have a few questions for the Flame Marshal regarding the circumstances of her miraculous escape. When we have completed our interrogation, we shall take our findings directly to General Brabant, and that shall be the end of it. Your work here is done, my friend. My thanks. But I have one last task for you. Return to the Rising Sun and appraise Midfilia of all that has happened. I am aware that the antecedent held Royale in high regard. For better or worse, you will want to know how this tale ends. Alfinod informs you that he and Nilbert are planning to question and lead Royale before reporting their findings to Roban. While they conduct their interrogation, you are to return to the Rising Stones and inform Midfilia of all that has occurred. They sing the song for the broken heart. Bang. Silent prayer for the faith departed. And I'm gonna be just a face in the crowd. You gotta hear my voice when I shout it loud. It's mine. It is mine. Viagem rápida para o e acaba amanhã esta parte da história. Quer dizer, a missão principal desta parte da história ainda tem essas missões.